On today's video, we're going to look at Naval's best takeaways from how to get rich without getting lucky. His viral tweet storm, Naval's had a tremendous impact on how I think about the world, about money. He explained on Joe Rogan in about a 4-minute clip a little bit of why he tweets, why he has a podcast, his philosophy and framework as it relates to what he's trying to do in the world. And then what I did was I took 10 of my favorite tweets from his very viral tweet storm, and I'm going to share that at the end, along with giving my final thoughts on Naval and what we can learn and how we can apply his principles in helping us get wealthy.
You do that one very small podcast where you just have small, like 3 or 4 minute clips.
Yeah. So what it was, I did a tweet storm called How to Get Rich Without Getting Lucky. And it got pretty popular on Twitter. And it's really about wealth creation. I just used a clickbaity title. And it's trying to basically lay out timeless principles of wealth creation that if you absorb them, you become the kind of person who can create wealth, create business, make money. And my theory behind that is like, there are 3 things everybody wants. There's actually more than 3, but let's just start with 3. The 3 basics. Everybody wants to be wealthy. Everybody wants to be happy, and everybody wants to be fit. And I know there's a lot of virtue signaling that goes on, like we don't want money and, I don't care about being happy and happiness is for stupid people. But let's face it, like you want to be rich and happy and healthy.
Yeah.
Like that's the trifecta.
Let me know in the comments, do you agree with that everyone wants to be happy, wealthy, and healthy?
Now, of course, you also want an internally calm state of mind. You want a loving household. So there are other things that come into it. But those 3, I think they can actually be taught, right? And a fitness, I'm not going to teach. There are a lot of people who you've had on here, including yourself, who know a heck of a lot more about fitness and health than I do. Because what you want is you don't want to be the guy who succeeds in life while being high-strung, high-stress, and unhappy and leaving a trail of emotional wreckage with you and your loved ones.
Which is more common than not.
Yeah, because you got to focus, and it's very hard to be great at everything. You want to be the guy or the gal who gets there calmly, quietly, without struggle. You want to be the person who's when there's a crisis going on, you want to be the calmest, coolest cucumber in the room who still also figures out the correct answer.
So here's what I'll say. Number one, I love how Naval thinks. I've listened to his entire podcast with Joe Rogan, and if you want to check that out, we'll have a link in the description. Also, since he was on, he came out with a book that just literally takes all of his tweets and thoughts from wealth to happiness and puts it in an almanac, a book that lays out just how he thinks. With full disclosure, my value leveraging framework that I have taught a lot of people on, this create value and amplify that value, a lot of those thoughts have come from Naval, especially as it relates to leverage. And his way of talking about leverage is more than just one thing. It's not just money. Leverage can be in influence, leverage can be in code, leverage can be in the ability to speak and be understood. And so Naval has influenced my thinking in many ways. And so what I'm going to do is he talked about this tweet storm. We'll also have a link to the full tweet storm, but I'm going to share with you my 10 favorite tweets from this, and I hope that you enjoy, and I hope that this is extremely valuable. So the first tweet that I want to highlight is he talks about seek wealth, not money or status. Wealth is having assets that earn while you sleep. Money is how we transfer time and wealth. Status is your place in this social hierarchy. And so he talks a lot about we should seek wealth and not status. And a lot of people who make dumb money decisions are focusing on the wrong fundamental thing. That if that doesn't sound like BetterWealth, we always are trying to say, what does intentional living look like? And let's make sure that you make intentional living the key, not what your neighbors or what your parents think that you should do. Number 2, ignore people playing status games. They gain status by attacking people playing wealth creation games. Don't think I need to say anything more about that. Number 3, you will get rich by giving the market what it wants, but does not know how to get it at scale. If you look at any billionaire, if you look at anyone that has created wealth, it's because they followed this tweet. Number 4, pick an industry where you can play long-term games with long-term people. Pick an industry, create a life where you can play long-term games with long-term people. Learn to sell, learn to build. If you can do both, you will be unstoppable. Incredible. I think learning how to sell is one of the lost art, and I think it's super key. We're always selling something. We're always selling ourselves. And then learning how to build is another beast in itself. And if you can surround yourself with people that are long-term thinkers that can combine that, or if you can be both, that would be unbelievable. Play iterated games. All the returns in life, whether in wealth, relationships, or knowledge, come from compound interest. Arm yourself with specific knowledge, accountability, and leverage. And then the next tweet, this is something I want to camp on for a second. Specific knowledge is found by pursuing your genuine curiosity and passion rather than what's hot right now. We call it the shiny object syndrome. A lot of people are like, oh, what should I do now? What should I do now? I've fallen into this even with content. It's like, oh, what's trending now? It's like, no, the best content that I can create is something that I'm genuinely curious about or passionate about. That's why you guys are going to watch this, not because I'm hitting on some trend. Same thing goes with business. Same thing goes with success. Same thing goes with wealth. What are you genuinely curious about? What are you genuinely passionate about? Camp on that. That's going to be way greater return than whatever's hot right now. All right, number 9, fortunes require leverage. Business leverage comes from capital, people, and products with no marginal cost of replication, code, and media. So in other words, when you create a website, it doesn't matter if one person goes to it or it doesn't matter if a million people go to it. In a sense, that website is creating value in it, and it doesn't have to be reproduced every single time someone goes to that. Same thing with a video, same thing with a book, same thing with a lot of things where your input doesn't have to change the potential output of more attention of people going to it. And so obviously this is the big key tweet that has really helped me articulate, okay, value leveraging, we have the different amplifiers as it relates to taking your message and your work to the next level. And the last tweet that I want to share is on this form of leverage. And it says, leverage is the force multiplier for your judgment. Obviously, if you are using leverage, as a result, you will win if you can use leverage and have better judgment because of that. One of my favorite things is talking about what is true wealth. Number one, it's for us, it's that intentional life and getting really clear, not focusing on status, but then also figuring out of like, okay, how do we get that? We create things that people have a demand for that they don't know how to get. That's so powerful. And then leverage is this concept of like, when you can do that, amplify that to the marketplace. And whether you're investing, whether you're working in a career that you use these principles, whether you're starting a business, you'll be able to take these principles and really skyrocket your influence, your wealth to the next level. Thank you so much for watching. Would love to hear your biggest takeaway from this video, from Naval. And yeah, I'm just hoping to continue to grow the message and grow the conversation as it relates to why people do certain things. And Naval has been one of those people for us.